Some stories don't begin with blood. They begin with a smile, a touch, a whispered promise in the dark. And sometimes, that promise ends with a gunshot. In 2012, the quiet suburb of Highland Heights, Kentucky, looked like the kind of place where nothing bad ever happened. Tree-lined streets, identical houses, friendly neighbors, the picture of small-town peace. But behind the door of one apartment, something was about to change forever. His name was Ryan Poston, a 29-year-old attorney, sharp, ambitious, and on the fast track to success. He had an easy smile, confident posture, and the kind of charisma that made people take notice. To friends, he was the guy who had it all: brains, charm, and a bright future. Her name was Shayna Hubers, a psychology student, intelligent, attractive, and articulate. The kind of woman who always seemed to know exactly what she wanted and wasn't afraid to go after it. When Ryan and Shayna met in 2011, the connection was instant. What began as a whirlwind romance quickly turned into an intense relationship, the kind that feels like a movie at first and ends like a tragedy. At the beginning, everything seemed perfect. Weekend trips, candlelit dinners, endless photos of smiling faces on social media. They looked like the perfect couple, driven, modern, magnetic. But behind the captions and the smiles, something darker was growing. Something that looked like love, but was slowly turning into obsession. Ryan's friends began to notice the signs. Shayna's affection had started to feel more like control. She texted constantly, demanded to know where he was, who he was with, and what he was doing every minute of the day. Jealousy became her shadow, and Ryan began to feel trapped. He tried to break things off, and more than once. But every time he tried to walk away, Shayna found a way to pull him back. Tears, apologies, promises to change, and Ryan gave in. There are people who love so intensely that they destroy what they claim to cherish. And Shayna was one of them. She once told Ryan, "If I can't have you, no one else will." That phrase, spoken half in laughter, half in tears, would echo years later in a courtroom. It was October 12, 2012, a Friday night. Ryan had plans. After months of chaos, he was finally ready to move on, and he was excited about a date. Her name was Audrey Bolter, a former Miss Ohio, elegant and confident. They'd met recently, and Ryan wanted a fresh start, something light, something normal. But Shayna found out. She went through his phone, his messages, his social media, and discovered he had a date that night. And that's when she made her decision. If she couldn't have him, she wouldn't let anyone else have him either. At 8:50 p.m., neighbors heard shouting coming from Ryan's apartment. An argument, then silence. Moments later, a call came in to 911. The voice on the other end was calm. "Too calm. I just shot my boyfriend," the woman said. "It was Shayna Hubers. He tried to attack me. I shot him in self-defense. He's dead." The dispatcher tried to keep her on the line, but something about her tone was unsettling. She wasn't crying. She wasn't panicking. She spoke as if she were describing something she'd simply accepted. When police arrived, they found Ryan Poston lying on the floor. 6 gunshot wounds. One to the face, another to the head. Blood covered the walls. The gun, a silver .38 revolver, sat on the table, and Shayna was sitting calmly on the couch. Hands folded, expression blank. When officers entered, she stood and said, "I did what I had to do. He was going to kill me." But something didn't add up. There were no signs of a struggle, no broken furniture, no bruises, just Ryan's body, and the kind of silence that follows something irreversible. At the station, interrogation cameras captured everything, and what they recorded would soon horrify the nation. During questioning, Shayna didn't cry. She didn't break down. Instead, she laughed, sang, and even danced. She told detectives she'd shot Ryan to end his suffering. Then she smirked and said, "Now he's got the new nose he always wanted." The officers were stunned. The woman claiming self-defense was acting out a performance. At one point, she began softly singing Amazing Grace, staring straight into the camera, as if she were the star of her own twisted stage play. And in that moment, it became clear to investigators this wasn't grief. It was control, cold, calculated, performed. In the days that followed, Shayna's carefully constructed image began to collapse. Messages, emails, and testimonies painted a chilling picture. She had broken into Ryan's apartment, followed him to public events, and even impersonated others to spy on him. Her obsession wasn't love, it was possession, and Ryan knew it. A close friend would later tell police that, just hours before his death, Ryan said, "I'm ending this tonight. I'm done. I can't do it anymore." He never got the chance. The clock read 9:02 p.m. when police entered Ryan Poston's apartment. The front door was unlocked. The lights were still on. The air felt heavy and metallic, and the body on the floor. Motionless, Ryan lay on his back near the dining table. Papers scattered everywhere, a shattered glass, a silver revolver on the table. Beside him, 6 spent shell casings, blood slowly spreading across the hardwood floor. But what caught the officer's attention wasn't the body. It was the woman sitting calmly on the couch, Shayna Hubers, hands folded in her lap. No tears, no trembling, just that steady, detached gaze, as if she were already used to what she was seeing. When asked what had happened, she replied immediately, "He tried to attack me. I had to defend myself." But as the minutes passed, her story began to shift. First, she said Ryan pushed her, then that he grabbed her by the throat. Later, that he had been in a rage. Yet none of it matched the scene. There were no bruises, no overturned furniture, no signs of a fight. And Ryan's body, his hands, his arms, showed no defensive wounds. What the forensics revealed was different. The shots had been fired in rapid succession, from close range. One of them, while Ryan was already on the floor. The last one, directly to his face. Hours later at the station, Shayna was led into an interrogation room. The cameras rolled. It was past midnight, but she looked wide awake, even energized. While waiting for the detective, she began to hum softly. Then she sang, "Amazing Grace." How sweet the sound, a haunting contrast to the blood still drying miles away. She looked into the mirror, adjusting her hair, fixing her posture. Then, almost casually, she began to dance. A slow, graceful twirl. Hands lifted slightly, eyes closed, like she was back on stage again. When the detective finally walked in, she smiled. "He hurt me," she said. "He hit me. I just wanted him to stop." But as the questions deepened, her tone shifted. The calm gave way to nervous laughter. She described the shooting in graphic detail, her voice detached, clinical. "I shot him once. He fell, then I saw him trying to breathe, and I thought, he's suffering, so I shot him again, to end his pain." The detective glanced at the camera. This wasn't fear. This wasn't trauma. It was control and pride. At one point, Shayna laughed and said, "He always said he wanted a nose job. Well, so now he's got the new nose he always wanted." Then she giggled and went back to humming Amazing Grace. It was chilling. The behavior of someone detached from the horror of what had just happened, someone rehearsing her own version of the truth. Over the next few days, detectives pieced together her past. It was a pattern, obsession, control, and manipulation. She'd hacked Ryan's social media, followed him to bars, sent fake messages from other accounts. She even broke into his apartment while he was away, moving objects, leaving notes, changing photos. Ryan's friends said he was terrified. He told one of them, "I think she's dangerous." In the days before his death, he'd confided that he wanted out, and for good. He wanted peace. But Shayna wouldn't let go. The timeline painted a grim picture. 1 p.m. Texts between Ryan and Shayna turned tense. She wanted to see him. He tried to say no. 11 p.m. She showed up uninvited. Neighbors heard arguing. 8:45 p.m. Ryan's phone went silent. 10 p.m. 6 shots. 9:05 p.m., the 911 call. She waited almost 5 minutes before calling for help, and according to investigators, Ryan may have still been alive during that time. They believe she watched him struggle and only then made the call. During the reconstruction of the crime, forensic experts detailed what had happened. Ryan was sitting at the table, likely trying to stand. The first bullet hit his chest. He fell backward. The second, his arm. The third, his neck. Then, silence. But she didn't stop. She reloaded, walked closer, and fired 3 more times. The final shot and straight to the face. This wasn't self-defense. It was domination. A punishment? Criminal psychologists later reviewed her behavior. The conclusion: pathological narcissism. A personality driven by control, attention, and the inability to accept rejection. When Ryan decided to move on, she didn't just see it as heartbreak. She saw it as annihilation. And the murder was her way of regaining power. She didn't kill the man she hated. She killed the man who no longer loved her. In the weeks that followed, the interrogation footage went public. Millions watched in disbelief. There she was, laughing, singing, posing, completely detached from reality. "I just wanted him to listen to me," she said in one clip. And now, he'll listen forever. The internet exploded. Headlines called her the psycho girlfriend. Others dubbed her the woman who danced after murder. But one thing was certain: no one could look away. 3 years after the murder, in April 2015, the case finally reached the courtroom. By then, the story of Ryan Poston and Shayna Hubers was no longer just a crime. It was a national obsession. Documentaries, talk shows, news outlets, everyone wanted to see the woman who shot her boyfriend and danced afterward. When Shayna entered the courtroom for the first time, the cameras flashed like lightning. She wore a beige blazer, light makeup, hair perfectly styled. She smiled softly, as if she believed she could still convince the world. But over the next few days, that illusion would collapse completely. From the very beginning, Shayna treated the trial like a stage. She cried on cue, dabbed her eyes with slow, graceful movements, and occasionally glanced toward the jury with dramatic pauses, like an actress waiting for her cue. Her defense team argued self-defense. They painted Ryan as cold, controlling, a man who emotionally abused her. They wanted the jury to see Shayna as fragile, broken, the victim of a toxic relationship. But prosecutor Michelle Snodgrass was ready. And when she began to present her evidence, the courtroom went silent. Messages, screenshots, phone records, and, most damning of all, Vector, the interrogation footage. The jury watched in complete stillness as Shayna appeared on screen, laughing, singing, and bragging about the shooting. She told detectives she fired to end his suffering. She joked about his nose, and she danced. For several jurors, it was too much. Some looked away. Others shook their heads in disbelief. Then came the witnesses. Friends of Ryan took the stand, painting a picture of a man desperate to escape. One recalled a message Ryan sent just hours before he died. "Pray for me. I'm seeing Shayna one last time. I'm ending this for good." It was his final text. Another friend testified that days before the shooting, Shayna said she would rather see Ryan dead than with another woman. And indeed, on the night he was killed, Ryan had plans to meet Audrey Bolte, the former Miss Ohio. He was getting ready to leave when Shayna showed up. An hour later, he was dead. The prosecution's case was devastating. They played Shayna's recorded statements again and again, including the moment she said, "I gave him the last shot because he was still moving. He was going to die anyway, so I just finished what I started." Then the prosecutor turned to the jury and asked, "Does that sound like self-defense or execution?" The silence that followed was chilling. A forensic psychologist, Dr. Philip Resnick, analyzed Shayna's behavior for the court. His conclusion was clear. She exhibits narcissistic and histrionic traits, a personality that thrives on attention, drama, and control. To Shayna, rejection wasn't heartbreak, it was annihilation. He explained that when Ryan tried to leave, Shayna didn't see it as losing a relationship. She saw it as losing herself. Killing him was, in her mind, a way to take back control of the narrative, to make sure that even in death, Ryan would never escape her orbit. Throughout the trial, Shayna kept performing. At times she cried, at others she smiled faintly. Her emotions flickered like a light switch, never truly believable. The jury had already seen her real face in that interrogation room. They knew the truth behind the tears. Her internet search history sealed the case. Days before the shooting, she had looked up, what happens if you shoot someone in self-defense? How to clean up a crime scene. It wasn't a crime of passion. It was premeditated. After 2 long weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated for just 5 hours. The verdict: guilty of first-degree murder. When it was read aloud, Shayna showed no emotion. No tears, no shock. Just the faintest hint of a smirk. The judge looked at her and said, "You took a young, promising life and showed no remorse. For that, the sentence is life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 40 years. But even as she was led away, Shayna didn't flinch. If anything, she looked satisfied, because for her, the show wasn't over. Not yet. When the steel doors finally closed behind Shayna Hubers, the world assumed the story was over. But like every tale where ego is the true killer, the ending was never meant to be simple. Shayna didn't fade into the shadows. She thrived in them. Inside prison, she became something unexpected, a celebrity. Letters began pouring in from across the country. Men wrote her poems, love confessions, even marriage proposals. Some sent money. Others called her misunderstood. Even behind bars, Shayna had found a new audience. People captivated not by her innocence, but by her image. It was the same dark phenomenon that had followed other infamous killers before her. The allure of evil wrapped in beauty and mystery, and Shayna knew exactly how to play the part. In her letters, she quoted Shakespeare and Bible verses. She wrote about love, redemption, and fate, but never once, not once, did she mention remorse. Cellmates later revealed she spent hours in front of the metal mirror in her cell, practicing facial expressions, smiling, crying, whispering rehearsed lines under her breath, as if she was still performing, just for an invisible audience. Because for Shayna, the trial never truly ended. The stage had simply changed. Then in 2018, an unexpected twist shocked everyone. Her defense filed an appeal, claiming irregularities during jury selection. Astonishingly, the court granted her a new trial. Once again, cameras returned. Once again, Shayna had an audience. She took the stand, telling the same story: self-defense, fear, pain. But this time, no one was convinced. The evidence hadn't changed. The messages, the videos, the bullets, all remained. After another 2 weeks of testimony, the jury reached the same conclusion as before. Guilty again and once more, Shayna sat motionless, emotionless as the verdict was read. A life sentence, confirmed, no appeals, no second chances. But outside those walls, her story refused to die. Documentaries, podcasts, and YouTube channels dissected every frame of her interrogation video, her laughter, her poses, her chilling calm. People were both horrified and fascinated. What could make someone turn love into obsession and obsession into murder? Experts called it pathological narcissism, a hunger for control so consuming that rejection feels like death. One psychologist described her as a modern Medusa, capable of captivating and destroying with the same gaze. For Ryan's family, though, the spectacle never mattered. They chose silence. Each year on the anniversary of his death, friends posted quiet tributes, old photos, shared memories, laughter frozen in time. No drama, no headlines, just remembrance. His mother, Lisa Carter, once said, "People talk about Shayna like she's the center of the story. But the real protagonist was my son, and he's not here to tell it. because in truth, crimes like this don't end when the killer is locked away. They continue in the silence of the families, in the memories that refuse to fade. Today, more than a decade later, Shayna Hubers remains behind bars at the Kentucky Correctional Institution for Women, and yet her face still resurfaces in new documentaries, viral videos, endless online debates. Her smile, always the same, confident, calculated, cold, but behind that smile lies a single haunting echo, the sound of 6 gunshots on a quiet October night. The moment a love story turned into an obituary, at her final sentencing, Shayna whispered something almost too soft to catch. "He always said I'd be unforgettable." And in a way, she was right, because the Ryan Poston case isn't just about murder. It's about the fragility of the human mind, the line between love and control, affection and obsession. Shayna didn't just kill a man, she killed the version of herself that couldn't let go. Some loves burn like candles, others like wildfires. The story of Shayna Hubers shows how far the human mind can go when love turns into possession. But what happens when that obsession goes beyond passion and enters the realm of horror? Decades earlier, in a small isolated town in Wisconsin, another mind lost control, turning madness into something unspeakable. His name was Ed Gein, and what investigators found inside his home would forever redefine the meaning of the word monster. If this story kept you watching till the end, like, share, and subscribe.